Her bags were on the sidewalk when she returned from her trip, but when she read the note, everything she'd built for the last 20 years unraveled in seconds. Please stay with me as I tell you her story, and don't forget to support our channel by subscribing, liking, and sharing this with anyone who's ever trusted the wrong person. Dana had just come back from a trip. She had gone to visit her daughter for a week. She was smiling as she pulled up in front of her apartment, but as soon as she got out of the car, her smile slowly faded. Her suitcases were sitting outside the building, lined up neatly like someone had taken their time. Her heart started to race. She walked up to the door and saw a piece of paper stuck to it. It said, "You knew what you did. Don't come back." At first, she thought it was a mistake, maybe a prank. She pulled out her key and tried to open the door, but it didn't work. The locks had been changed. She called Tom, her partner of 17 years, but the call didn't go through. She called again. Nothing. She checked her messages. No reply. She felt dizzy. Her mind raced. What was going on? What did he mean by, "You knew what you did"? What had she done? She looked around, hoping someone would come out, explain, help, anyone, but nobody came. Her home was now a place she could no longer enter. Her hands shook as she sat on her own suitcase, staring at the closed door. She felt embarrassed, like the whole world could see her life falling apart. She had shared everything with Tom. They built that home together. They planned their retirement together. She had no idea he was capable of something like this. No fight, no warning, just silence and a cold goodbye note. As the sun went down, Dana sat there alone with her bags, the streetlights slowly flickering on. Everything she had known and trusted was gone in a moment. And worst of all, she didn't even know why. Dana didn't have many places to go. After sitting on the sidewalk for hours, she finally called her sister, Paula, who lived about 40 minutes away. Paula came quickly and didn't ask many questions. She just helped Dana load the bags into the car and drove her home. Dana sat in silence the entire way, her hands folded tightly in her lap, her thoughts spinning. Paula gave her the guest room and warm tea. But that first night, Dana didn't sleep. She stared at the ceiling, trying to understand what had happened. She had lived with Tom for 17 years. They weren't married, but everything they owned, they shared, or so she thought. The next morning, Dana's daughter, Mia, drove in to see her. Mia was furious. "You need to talk to a lawyer," she said. "You can't just let him throw you out like that. That apartment was yours too." Dana nodded slowly, but she wasn't ready to fight. She still didn't understand why this had happened. She just kept asking, "What did I do?" Out of habit, she opened her banking app to check their joint account. Her heart sank. Her name was no longer listed. The account was there, but it wasn't joint anymore. She tried logging into their savings account. Blocked. She realized Tom had not just locked her out of their home, he had cut her out of their life, completely and quietly. She started texting friends. Some replied with short, awkward messages. Others didn't respond at all. One friend, Linda, wrote, "I don't know what to say. This is all just disappointing." That stung. Dana typed out replies, tried to ask what people had heard, but no one gave a straight answer. It hit her all at once. People thought she cheated. That's why everyone was acting strange. That's why they were pulling away from her. But it wasn't true. She hadn't done anything. She had been loyal, loving, present. Then, as she sat on the edge of the guest bed, staring at her phone, she remembered Jenna. Jenna was her late friend's daughter. Dana had taken her under her wing years ago. After Jenna's mum died, she helped her through college applications, gave her advice, even got her an internship at Tom's firm. They had been close, almost like mother and daughter. She opened her messages and scrolled to the last one she sent Jenna a few weeks ago. "Hope you're settling into your new role. Let's catch up soon." It was marked "Read," but Jenna never replied. Dana typed out another message. "Hi, just checking in. Are you okay?" Then paused. Something didn't feel right. She looked at that "read" message again and suddenly felt cold all over. Why was Jenna ignoring her too? Why did it feel like everyone was pulling away, just when she needed them most? She didn't know it yet, but the answer was about to change everything. A few days later, Dana couldn't help herself. She got in her car and drove past the place that used to be her home. It was late afternoon, and the street was quiet. Her hands gripped the steering wheel tightly as she turned the corner and parked a little further down. From the outside, everything looked normal. The garden was still trimmed. The curtains were shut. But as she stared at the windows, something moved behind the blinds. A shadow. Then, a shape. A A woman, not Tom, a younger woman. Dana's heart started pounding. She stared harder, but the blinds closed tighter. She stepped out of the car and walked slowly toward the house, hoping for a better view, but not too close to be noticed. Just then, the neighbor from 2 doors down came out to get her mail. The woman squinted. "Oh, Dana, I didn't expect to see you around." Dana forced a smile. "Just passing through." The neighbor nodded, then glanced at the house. "So, you're letting someone else stay there now?" "The blonde girl. She's been there for days. I thought she was your niece or something." Dana blinked. "Blonde? Yeah, maybe early 30s. Real pretty. I saw her out with Tom the other day." Dana's stomach twisted. She didn't say another word. She got back into her car quickly and drove off. Her mind was racing. Blonde girl, early 30s, staying at the house with Tom. She pulled into a parking lot and sat there for a long time. She called Mia. "Can you check if we still have access to the security camera account?" Mia hesitated, then said, "Yeah, let me try." A few minutes later, her daughter sent a still image. It was from 2 days ago, the front door camera, clear as day. Jenna was standing in front of the door, laughing, and Tom had his arm around her shoulder. Dana stared at the photo, unable to breathe. Jenna, her Jenna, the girl she'd loved like a daughter, the girl she'd helped through grief, through school, through life. She felt sick. This wasn't just betrayal. This was a knife in the back, from someone she had once protected like her own blood. Dana couldn't sleep that night. Her mind kept replaying the image of Jenna and Tom together, laughing like they hadn't just burned down her entire life. She lay awake wondering how Jenna had gotten so close to Tom, and why. It didn't make sense. None of it did. But one thing was now clear. This wasn't a misunderstanding. It was a plan, and it had worked. Early the next morning, Dana created a new Facebook profile. Fake name, fake picture, just enough to seem real. She sent Tom a message. "Hi, I know you probably don't want to hear from me, but I just need to understand what happened." To her surprise, he replied in minutes. "You disgust me," he wrote. "I trusted you for 17 years, and this is how you repay me." Dana stared at the screen, her hands trembling. "What did you think I did?" she typed back. Tom didn't hesitate. "Don't play stupid. Jenna showed me everything. The text with Bill, the hotel dates, the pictures. You were never who I thought you were." Dana felt the air leave her lungs. Bill, he was 24, a junior employee at her old office. She had trained him, mentored him. He was barely out of college when they met. There was nothing romantic, nothing inappropriate. She had even helped him with his resume when he was looking for a new job. She had never even texted him outside of work. Her fingers flew over the keyboard. "What texts? I never did anything with Bill. That's a lie." Tom responded with a screenshot. It showed a message from Dana saying, "Can't wait to see you again." Tom's clueless. And another one with a hotel reservation. Then a photo, blurry, but it looked like Dana and Bill at a restaurant. She remembered that lunch. It was work-related. They had gone to talk about a team project. There were 4 people there, but the angle made it look like it was just the 2 of them. She realized what had happened. Jenna had built a story. She must have created fake screenshots, taken real events and twisted them, cut out the context. And Tom had believed every word. He never even asked her about it. No questions, no conversation, just judgment, just rage. Dana sat in silence for a long time, staring at her phone. The betrayal was too deep to cry over. She didn't just lose her home, her partner, and her reputation. She had been erased, replaced by a lie Jenna created. And Tom, the man who shared her life for almost 2 decades, never even gave her a chance to explain. That's when something inside Dana shifted. This wasn't heartbreak anymore. It was war. Dana didn't scream. She didn't call Tom. She didn't text Jenna. Instead, she went quiet, dangerously quiet. While the pain still lived in her chest, she refused to let it control her. She knew if she reacted emotionally, she'd be painted as bitter, unstable, the crazy woman who got caught cheating, even though she didn't. So Dana began to collect. First, she pulled her old financial records, everything she and Tom had shared, bank statements, mortgage payments, investment accounts. That's when she noticed the quiet withdrawals. Money moved from their joint savings to a private account with only Tom's name on it. Some were done just days before she left for her trip. Next, she started saving screenshots, comments Tom had made online, posts Jenna liked, every little digital breadcrumb. She emailed them to herself, then printed backups. She reached out to co-workers, asking careful questions. Did anyone remember her working lunches with Bill? Were there emails to confirm them? Many were happy to help. A few had even suspected something strange when Dana was suddenly cut off by people she had known for years. She also started recording every call she got, with Tom, with mutual friends, even her bank, anything that proved how quickly the people in her life had turned their backs. Then one night, while scrolling in bed, Dana found a subreddit for people who'd been betrayed. She didn't post anything at first, just read hundreds of stories like hers. Partners ruined by lies, reputations destroyed, lives reset. But she noticed something. The ones who healed were the ones who fought back. So she created a private account, started a journal thread, titled it, "My best friend stole my life, I'm taking it back." Each day, she logged what she found, what she felt, and what she planned. And eventually she had an idea. Jenna liked attention. She always had. Even when Dana was helping her through college, Jenna had been drawn to flattery like a moth to flame. So Dana thought, what if someone else gave her that attention? Not Dana, not a woman. Someone new, someone Jenna wouldn't be able to resist. That night, Dana created a fake profile, a man named Greg, handsome, wealthy, charming, and Jenna had no idea what was coming. Dana poured everything she had into building Greg. She gave him a backstory, 38 years old, a tech consultant who split time between Miami and New York. She used AI tools to generate a polished but realistic face, not too handsome, but the kind that looked successful, reliable, and just enough older to seem impressive. She filled his profile with casual photos, coffee shop shots, book recommendations, gym mirror selfies that looked effortless. His bio read, "Done with drama, here to meet someone honest. Bonus if you like wine, dogs, and good sarcasm." Then, Greg found Jenna. Dana messaged her through a dating app Jenna had once bragged about using. It took 2 days for Jenna to respond. The moment she did, the tone was flirty. She asked where Greg lived, what he did, what kind of woman he was looking for. Dana played it cool. Greg replied slowly, never too eager, always polite, just the kind of man Jenna would want to impress. Within a week, Jenna was hooked. She started sending photos, mirror selfies, flirty outfits, and a few that made Dana's stomach turn. She talked about herself constantly, bragged about her new life, and eventually opened up about Tom. "He's sweet, but honestly, not very smart," Jenna wrote in one message. "I came in and cleaned up the mess his ex left behind. Poor guy was blind." Dana read every word in stunned silence. Jenna wasn't just lying to Tom, she was mocking him. Then came the one message that changed everything. "Honestly, I didn't even have to try that hard. One fake text, a couple of screenshots, and boom, 17 years of his life, gone." She didn't even fight back. Pathetic, right? Dana felt a chill crawl down her spine. She copied the message, screenshotted it, backed it up twice. Jenna kept going. She called Tom boring, said she was only with him for now, and laughed about how easy it was to twist the story and paint Dana as the villain. All the while, Dana kept her responses measured. Greg never judged, just asked thoughtful questions. Jenna gave up everything without even being asked directly. Every message, every call, every voice note, Dana saved it all. She had her proof now, not just of the lie, but of the intent behind it. This wasn't a mistake, it was cruelty, planned, performed, celebrated. And finally, Dana had the truth in Jenna's own words. She didn't cry, she smiled, because now she wasn't just hurt, she was ready. Dana sat at her small kitchen table, surrounded by piles of paper, her laptop open to endless tabs of screenshots, emails, and messages. Each piece of evidence told a part of the story. The lies Jenna had told, the fake texts meant to destroy Dana's reputation, the cruel words Jenna had typed with no shame. She carefully printed everything out, making sure the colours were clear and the timestamps visible. Next, she organised it all into neat stacks. Screenshots of conversations, the forged texts Jenna had sent Tom, bank records showing her name removed, voice notes where Jenna laughed about ruining her life. She even included a timeline, a clear, simple summary of events, laid out day by day. Dana wasn't doing this to gloat. She wanted the truth to be seen, not just by Tom, but by anyone who still believed the twisted story Jenna had spun. When she finished, she took a thick envelope from her drawer, one she had bought weeks earlier for a different purpose. But now it had a new name. In bold black letters, she wrote, "Truth." She sealed the envelope carefully, then sat back for a moment, heart pounding. This was the moment she had been preparing for, the moment where she stopped being the victim and took back control. The next morning, Dana drove across town to Tom's office building. Her hands trembled slightly as she walked into the lobby, clutching the envelope close. She asked the receptionist to pass it directly to Tom, refusing to say a word about what was inside. Then, she left. The rest of the day felt heavy. She wanted to call Tom, to ask if he had opened it, but she didn't. Instead, she focused on small things, tidying her sister's spare room where she had been staying, making dinner, and replaying memories of the past 17 years. Evening came, and with it, silence. Her phone buzzed suddenly. She looked down and saw a message from Tom. Her breath caught in her throat. The words were short, desperate. "I need to see you." Dana stared at the screen, the weight of everything crashing over her all at once. Part of her wanted to reply, to hear his side, to confront him face to face. But deep inside, she knew some wounds couldn't be healed with just a meeting. She thought about how easily he had believed lies, how quickly he had cast her out without a second thought. Then, without hesitation, she tapped the screen and deleted the message. She didn't want to give him that power anymore. This was her fight, and she was no longer alone. Dana looked out the window, feeling the first spark of hope in weeks. The package was sent. The truth was out. Now, it was time to see what came next, on her terms. Dana sat quietly in her sister's living room, her mind racing as she decided what to do next. She knew she couldn't stay silent any longer. The lies and betrayal had to be exposed, not just for herself, but for anyone else who might be hurt by Jenna's actions. Instead of posting on social media, Dana turned to a local community newsletter and a neighborhood bulletin board, places where real people in her town read the news. She wrote a careful, honest letter describing everything that had happened, the trust broken, the fake messages, and the way Jenna had taken over her life. She asked the newsletter editor to publish it anonymously, hoping to protect herself while sharing the truth. Within days, the letter was printed and circulated. People began to talk. Neighbors who once whispered about Dana's supposed mistakes now looked at Jenna differently. Friends who had avoided Dana started asking questions. Slowly, the truth spread quietly but surely. At Jenna's workplace, the news reached her supervisor. They began to look into the situation more closely, concerned about Jenna's behavior and the impact on the community. Jenna found herself facing uncomfortable questions from people she had once called friends. Dana didn't gloat or seek revenge. Instead, she watched calmly as the consequences of Jenna's choices unfolded. The silence and cold shoulders Jenna had once directed at Dana now came back to her. Meanwhile, Dana's own circle began to open up again. People who had doubted her started offering support. Old friends called, apologizing for not standing by her sooner. Her daughter, once angry and distant, began to reconnect. For Dana, this was more than just reclaiming her life. It was about restoring trust and truth in her community. She knew the road ahead wouldn't be easy, but the weight of the secret was finally lifted. Sometimes, justice doesn't come from loud accusations, but from steady, quiet truth. And in the end, Dana felt ready to move forward, stronger than before. Tom's messages came late at night, desperate and full of regret. After weeks of silence, he finally asked to meet Dana face to face. She wasn't sure if she wanted to, but something inside her told her this was the moment to close the door on the past. They agreed to meet at a small cafe halfway between their homes, a neutral place where neither had to feel trapped or vulnerable. Dana arrived early, her heart heavy but steady. When Tom walked in, his usual confident air was gone. He looked tired, worn down by guilt. He sat across from her, hands trembling slightly. For a long moment, he said nothing. Then his voice broke as he spoke. "I was wrong, Dana. I believed lies. I didn't see what was right in front of me. I hurt you in ways I can't take back." Tears ran down his cheeks. He looked like a man finally understanding the weight of his mistakes. Dana watched him quietly, feeling the flood of emotions inside: anger, sadness, but also a strange calm. She didn't interrupt. She let him speak his truth, knowing words alone wouldn't fix the damage. When he finally fell silent, she took a deep breath, stood up, and looked him straight in the eyes. "You believed a child over a woman you slept beside for 17 years, she said firmly. "That's your legacy now." Her words hung in the air, heavy and undeniable. Tom's face fell, and he nodded slowly, accepting the finality of what she said. Dana didn't say more. She turned and walked out of the cafe, her head held high. Outside, the sunlight felt warmer. For the first time in months, Dana felt free from the pain, the betrayal, and the lies. She had faced the man who hurt her, spoken her truth, and chosen to move forward. That meeting was not about forgiveness or reconciliation. It was about reclaiming her power and closing a painful chapter. As she stepped into the street, Dana knew one thing for sure. She would no longer let anyone decide her worth or her story. She was ready to live for herself, strong, proud, and unbroken. Dana stood in the bright, open space of her new apartment, a loft filled with sunlight streaming through large windows. It was nothing like the place she'd left behind. No shadows, no locked doors, no secrets. Here, everything felt fresh and full of promise. She signed the lease with a steady hand, feeling a small spark of hope for the first time in months. Then she went shopping, picking out new furniture, a cozy sofa, a sturdy dining table, soft curtains. Each piece was a step toward leaving the past behind. She cleared out old boxes, tossing away things that held painful memories. When her daughter came to visit, the apartment finally felt like home. They cooked together in the kitchen, their laughter filling the rooms. They shared stories, toasted with glasses of wine, and for a moment, all the hurt faded away. It was just them, rebuilding their bond and finding joy again. Dana looked around her new space, breathing in the calm and light. This was more than just a fresh start. It was a chance to rebuild her life on her own terms. As she settled onto her new sofa, she thought about everything she'd been through, the betrayal, the heartbreak, the strength it took to fight back. And she realized something important. Sometimes, betrayal is a reset button in disguise. I was thrown away, so I built something better. Dana smiled softly, knowing this was just the beginning of her story. Thanks for staying with me. Do you think Dana made the right choice by walking away from Tom, or should she have tried to forgive him? Let me know what you think in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you want more stories like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update.